Florida plays the Athlon predicted order of finish: number 1, Georgia; number 2, Texas; number 3, Ole Miss. Maybe for you, and maybe in the conversations y'all have in this magazine, if you could maybe glean this from some of the conversations you had, is it grading on a curve for this team a bit? For many, myself included out there in Gator Nation, they need to see progress in pure wins and losses, no matter what the schedule is. This is Napier's roster. It's his process. If things are headed in the right direction, all the issues addressed that you brought up earlier, that should amount to wins. Is that too harsh? Is it too fair? There just hasn't been much equity built the last couple of seasons. So I think a good portion of the fan base is really looking at improvement this year. Schedule be damned.
Honestly, I don't really have a problem with any fan who looks at other coaches at other programs in the SEC and says it doesn't take very long normally. Didn't take Urban Meyer very long. Didn't take Kirby Smart very long. Coaches generally at big time programs, when they get to an elite level program like Florida or Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State or LSU, generally you're winning pretty big, pretty fast. And I think some of this is, I can sit here and talk about context. You and I can talk about context all we want to. Dan Mullen didn't recruit. They didn't have the infrastructure on the back end. They didn't have the resources for all the assistants and the scouting departments and the analytics. And we can talk about all that stuff. The indoor practice facility, on and on until we're blue in the face. Eventually, it has to translate to wins at a place like Florida. So I actually don't have a problem with a fan saying, you know what, 6-6 is not good enough. He needs to go. And I think you and I have had this conversation before where I say, if that does happen, hypothetically, the program is in significantly better shape for the next guy to take over if that were to happen. And that is absolutely a credit to what Billy Napier and his staff has done. So you can't tell me that they haven't accomplished anything. I know why Florida fans think it doesn't feel that way or it doesn't look that way. But you're going to have your first ever, this is the first quarterback he's ever recruited and played is going to be DJ Lagway. There's a lot of context that I think as analysts we can put out there and say, this is why this is happening at Florida, and this is why it's taking this amount of time, or this is why you should be patient. And I understand fans who fall that direction and go, yeah, I agree. I want to see him with his own guys. I want to see him with the defensive staff. Can he fix a mistake that he made? That's another question is you got to be able to do that kind of stuff. So I understand fans who are patient and understand context. And I also understand by year 3 at a program like Florida, it's about wins and losses, and you should be competing for championships. And so I kind of agree with both sides of it. And I know that's a cop-out answer. Personally, I think that's why 7 or 8 wins needs to be the mark. And then you can say, look, this program is making serious progress. But I understand all fans in this situation that they are frustrated and they need to see real, actual progress. And especially while Tennessee is taking huge strides forward, and you've got Georgia being what Georgia is. Now you're adding Texas into the mix and as another national championship contender in the conference. I understand why Florida fans feel the way they feel.